Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're going to be talking about the dreaded subject, the bugging in or bugging out. I hope everybody's got their coffee. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning, Tomcat. Glad to see everybody this morning. I was going to do a news break, but I'm just kind of burnt out on the news. I think the news is just, there's too much BS going on in the news, right? So I'm only going to do the news every Sunday night, and I'm going to do a weekly um, roundup of the news on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock live stream over at OTWP TV News. My heart's not in it. I just think there's too much chaos, and I think there's too much negativity going on, and I think we have more important things to think about. And one of those things is there's so many different subjects that we can talk about when it comes to prepping that I think that we should stay centered and focused on things that are really going to help us, right? Things that are going to bring us through stuff, not just what the problems are, because Lord have mercy, we all know there's 1,005 problems plus. So I want to bring up the subject of bugging out and bugging in, and what the difference is, and when we have to make those decisions. I'm going to give it a few minutes because I am a little early. I did prepare a video, but I want to talk about this. It is never, never, never a bad thing to be prepared for the absolute worst case scenario. And I think part of being prepared for emergencies like natural disasters, civil unrest, is really understanding the terms and coming to a grasp of bugging out and bugging in. And the definitions are totally different, right? There's pros and cons for each one. There's different strategies, and how do we incorporate those into emergency response preparedness that will make or break our survival? And that's what it really comes down to. Is this going to make us, or is this going to break us? And bugging out. We all have heard, oh my gosh, I'm Billy Badass Prepper, and I'm going to bug out, and that's what I'm going to do. And well, that's not my ideal situation, right? It is a term that is described to evacuating an area after a disaster, and that disaster could be a lot of things. I know that my heart sank when the hurricane hit Florida, and we knew that some of our mag was there in Florida, and they refused to leave. See, there's a difference. I truly believe that we have to come to grips with that there may be a situation where we have to bug out, that we have no other choice. And it's in the best interest of you, it's in the best interest of your family. And bugging out, to me, if I have to do it, and me and Dragonflies have to do it, I want it to be a very, very temporary situation. Who agrees? Hit a one if you agree that bugging out would be your last resort, and also it would be very temporary. Like you would just leave to get out of harm's way and then come back, right? I've always said, I agree with you, Bucci. I've always said I'd never bug out until you see these situations happen. But when it comes to bugging out, we have to be prepared that it could be a permanent decision. And I wouldn't want that, right? Because you may have to bug out to actually just survive. And you may not only bug out to one location, you may bug out to several locations. Hey, Mama Freddie. Good morning. Good morning, Sherry. Good morning. She's a wildflower. Good morning, RCX. I will be having the news, folks, but I'm only going to do it once a week. I just can't take the bullshit anymore. I think that there's so many important topics that we could talk about when it comes to prepping that it's like, why are we spinning our wheels looking at all the chaos nonstop when there isn't shit we can do about it? I mean, I'm just being totally honest this morning. And I feel like when it comes to the news, how much of it is just spoon feed me. So I really want to take us on a new journey. And this new journey with OTWP prepping is, I really want us to get down to earth. I really want us to talk about prepping. Like, so many prepper channels talk about shit from left to right, and that's cool. Like, off the wall is off the wall. We speak of our faith. We have a great time last night at trivia. I had a lot of fun last night at trivia, and I enjoy learning. And I think that if I can bring anything to this channel now that I have a new channel, a new chance at something different, it would really to bring my expertise in my military background, in my previous 20 years in crime and law, that I was around crime prevention for over 20 years. Me and Dragonflies figured it out. It was closer to 30. But those are my expertise. Those are the things that, living off grid, all the things that we're doing here on the homestead, those are the things that I think can make us better prepared individuals, families, men, women, and children. And I have a little video that I did last night out in our new classroom. So I'm going to show that, and then we're going to get into the conversation. Glad to see you, Beth D. You are the new featured channel for OTWP. Also Tamara at LNL Homestead, Dragonflies, and I picked two other ones. I'm going to be picking some more. If you have a channel and you're here on a nonstop basis and you really would like to grow your channel, that's what the featured channels are all about. So drop, please, I would like to grow my channel in the chat, and I'll try to pick that up, or one of the mods let me know during this live stream if you see somebody say that. You can go to the featured channels mods and drop the new featured channels. And I just think it's a great way to give back to the community of the people that are actively involved, that we know what they stand for, and that we know that they're putting their best foot forward, right? And Beth, it is okay to drop your own channel. Um, Kentucky Survival 76 is another one. He's really a down to earth guy, and he's been involved in our channel for a long time. So I'd like to promote the channels within our channel, if that makes sense. So if you'd like your channel dropped, um, please, say please. I would really like to be promoted this month because I have plenty of spots open. Uh, so here we go, folks. Here's the video, and then I'll come back on. It's only about 7 minutes long. Let's go. All right, everybody. So this is part two. To the series, and whoops, the light isn't working. So I hope that you'll be able to see it. But this is what I want to talk about: is we all talk about that we want to bug in, and there's a lot of pros to bugging in, right? Because you're familiar with the location. You know your neighbors. You know your terrain. You know your supplies, and you know these things about bugging in. Hopefully, you have plans already in place for bugging in, right? Those are the pros of bugging in. But then we have to come over here, and there is cons. And the cons to bugging in. Let's see if we can get some more light on it. Okay. So the cons to bugging in is the collapse of your area, and your location is compromised. It's dangerous, and it's dangerous because of what's going on around you. You feel it. You know exactly what's happening. You know that there's a lot of bad guys. There's a lot of bad guys that have came into your location, and you're kind of in trouble, right? You're in trouble. So
it comes to the dreaded bug out. And honestly, folks, I don't want to bug out. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to bug out. But there comes a point and a time that you may have to say, we have to. We have no other choice but to get the hell out of Dodge. And that we got to go ASAP. That there's no more waiting. If you wait, it could be detrimental to you and your family. And you have to. You have to decide what that factor is for each one of you. And you have to decide, when is that factor? When is the factor that you say, that's it, I got to go? And for each one of us, some of us may be willing to take more risks than others. And why? Maybe you have kids, maybe you have animals, maybe you have disabled, right? Maybe you're just a little on the scared side. And so you keep thinking, let's just stay. Let's just stay. But there comes a point in the time that you're going to have to say, we have to go. And if we don't go, all of us could be in serious trouble. So the big question that each and every one of us have to ask is, where? Where are we going to go? Where? And this comes into play, and each one of us has to ask that question of, oops, my board's not as stable as I want it to be, but we'll get it there. We'll get it there. It needs a little work. But we're going to have to ask that question, and we're going to have to ask it on a serious note. Like, where do we go? What do we do? And how do we do it? And it comes a time and a place that a question, like, what's going to be the determining factor of where we're going to go? And I think that every single one of us, no matter what, we need to have a plan of where we're going. It may be that neighbor, it may be that relatives, it may be an old camping spot, an old fishing spot. I can't tell you where that spot could be. That's going to be for each one of us to determine and figure out. But I will tell you this: I don't want to bug out, but we may have to. We may have to bug out. And that being said, the big question is, you may have to. And when you decide that the risks are too heavy, right? The risks are too heavy. You're going to have to figure out, how do we take care of the kids, the animals, our disabled family members? And how do I get past the panic? And then where do we go? I hope as we get into these topics more and more, that you put your ideas and suggestions. I wouldn't put it all out there. And I'm just going to say that from my heart. I wouldn't put it all out there for anybody. That should be between you and your family, and that's pretty much it, right? Because it could be a very, very serious situation. If you have to bug out, the last thing you want to know to do is put it on social media where you're going. Okay. I'm just giving some suggestions of places you could go. Maybe you're going to be mobile. Maybe you're going to be in your car, your truck, an RV, and a camper. Maybe you have a remote location that pretty much, maybe it's underground. Maybe it's high in the mountains. These are just things to think about. But I'm going to go a little bit more into bugging out and bugging in here shortly.
So there's a lot of questions that come up when you get down to the nitty gritty of, do I bug out? And I agree. I agree with the chat very, very much so, because it would be my absolute last freaking option. You know, I love being where we're at, but somebody brought it up. I think it was yesterday or the day before about what if there was a forest fire? If there was a forest fire here, me and Dragonflies would have to get out of Dodge quickly. We would. Um, I would try to round up the cats. The outdoor cats would probably be on their own, honestly, because Tommy, he wanders. And Mama Cat, I would hope and pray that she would be able to get out of the forest. But the indoor cats and the dogs, and this comes down to the point too, is what are you going to need to bug out? Like, where are you going to go and why and when? And see the risk factor, like Bougie said, she never ever considered it until she had a situation in her own neighborhood and in her own town. And see, that's when we go, okay, the risks are so great to stay that it's my last resort and I have to do it. And there's no choice but to do it, right? Because if you stay, you're probably going to lose your life. And that's just the bottom line, is you'd probably lose your life. Um, I really think that when we look at bugging out and we think about it and we think about the circumstances, that's going to be different for each one of us. But then when it comes to bugging out, you should have a bug out bag. Foxy Mama, my own mom, brought this up in a chat one night. She said, make sure you have copies of every single thing, all your important documentation. Good morning, country prepper. And I think that's really important because you may need that paperwork, right? You may need your kids' birth certificates, their shot records, your important house papers, things like that. But also, you're going to need a true bug out bag, be it if it's one family bag or a family tote or whatever it may be. And you're going to need to be able to snatch that and go and get out of Dodge as quick as possible, because every single minute's going to count. I would say the most important things to have out in a bug out tote or bag, and you may want to prepare this ahead of time, right? Because you need to be prepared to survive while on the move. Be it if you're going to that high place in the mountains, if you're going to a cave underground, if you're going to a neighbor's house, if you're going to a relative's house, wherever it may be. And honestly, folks, don't say it on don't say it on the tube where you would go. I'm not going to tell you where I would go, and I don't think it's a wise idea or choice to say where you'll go. But you're going to need emergency food and water. And the thing is how much emergency food and water? I would plan on at least 5 to 7 days, right? That's a lot of food and water right there, first of all. Then you're going to need a first aid kit, trauma kit, and any medications that anyone takes. So that's another thing that you should have in this tote. Maybe a portable shelter, maybe some sleeping bags, a tent, something that can give you temporary shelter while you're on the move. Definitely sanitation and personal hygiene items. Um, TP, soap, shampoo. We have really cool things that we can take. Dragonflies picked us up a bunch of these from working in a nursing home, and it's like a no rinse soap, shampoo, and it's all in one. So you just spray the foam on, and at least you can wipe okay. But those things will come into play. You may want to grab your get home bag as part of your bug out bag. That because that bag should already be packed and ready to go as well. And then you're going to need some kind of lighting source and fire starting equipment. So maybe a couple good flashlights. Me personally, I keep a flashlight in our vehicles. I keep one in our shop. I have them in almost every room throughout the house. And Suburban, I hear you. I hear you about that. Not everybody is physically capable of bugging out, but if it comes down to your life, this is the scenario, right? Bugging out is the last freaking resort, y'all. And the other thing is when you're bugging out. and I want to say this, is that you're going to be putting yourself into a dangerous situation, right? You're going to be putting yourself into a dangerous situation because, folks, you don't know who's out on the road. Okay, I'm going to remember that, copycat. I got your address. Don't ask me twice now. Yeah. And the thing is suburban hillbilly. If you are mobile, copycat has a situation. For example, if you don't mind me using it, copycat helps with a disabled veteran, and I believe he lives with her full time, or she lives with him full time, however it is. But does she take him places? Do they go out in the community? Do they do things, right? Of course they do. If it came down to the last situation and she knew that if she didn't get the veteran out of the house, he would perish, do you think she's going to leave him? And Mama Freddie and Suburban, I hear you. But if you can get in a car and put it in drive, and it boils down to the last. I mean, y'all, you see the word above my head, last resort. I don't want to bug out. I got a bum knee, I got a bad back, um, and all these things come into play. But I'll tell you what, if it comes down to survival. Last night we watched a in-depth movie, a real life story that y'all may remember about Waco, Texas, with the compound there. And it's the first time they've actually put out the actual footage from what happened. And I'll tell you what, when I watched it, I was like, whoa, if it comes down to it, I'm moving, and I'm moving quickly. And you're going to have to be able to say, this is how I'm going to do it. And this is why I'm bringing this subject up, is to get in your mind some type of plan. Be it if it's going one community away to a friend's house or a neighbor's house or a relative's house, or if it's going to that old fishing spot or that cabin up in the mountains, or underground into a cave that you know about that's safe. This is I'm talking last resort, right, folks? So let's put it in perspective of that. You take care of an elderly woman and worry about being able to get to her. If and see, Mama Freddie, that's a big heart. That's a big heart. And maybe your situation would be to get to her, to take you and your family to her, right? And you would do the best you could. But like if we had, so many people want to compare things to like Mad Max or uh, the Walking Dead, things like that, right? So let's put it in that perspective. Your whole neighborhood is compromised, completely compromised. And I'm talking the risk is so heavy you're afraid to open the door. Have you waited too long? See, we have to look at the risk, and that's the big thing, is each one of us are going to have a different risk factor. And that's what I really, really thought about last night when I was doing that video for y'all, is the risk factor. Mine and Dragonfly's risk factor is going to be different than y'all's. But I will tell you this, if all shit breaks loose and we have a total meltdown of society and there's people scattered everywhere, hell yeah, I want to bunker in. I want to bunker in because bugging in gives me a lot of advantages, in my opinion, right? And everybody's entitled to their opinion about this, but that's why I brought it up this morning. Yeah, see, exactly. See, Mom and Freddie, you're already putting that in perspective that she has a four-bedroom house. You could all go there. See, these things are important to think about. God forbid, okay, God forbid. I don't want this to happen. And I mean, how many of you in the chat really want to bug out? Not me. Not me. I know that here in this cabin, I know our entrance, our exits, I know our terrain, I know our supplies, I know how long we could sit in this cabin and bug in, right? But I thought that it would be a good topic to bring up to the chat about what if. What if? Because what if scenarios will make you start thinking about, okay, let me get something in place. Something in place is better than nothing at all. I always say this, do the dang thing. if anything, do something. Um, yeah, and it is, Mama Freddie. There is advantages of staying, and there's advantages of going. Me personally, I don't want to. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm Billy Badass, and Dragonflies is Bert. Well, she is pretty badass, Bertha, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's what we'd want to do. Welcome everybody, Kentucky Survival 76. One of our new featured channels for April is KY76 Survival 76. But this is the thing. Bugging in, you have these advantages. You know the terrain. You know, hopefully, you know some of the neighbors. Hopefully, you have a local mag. Also, you know how much supplies you actually have. And see, Dragonflies has been stepping up our food. Now I'm stepping out up our outside security. We are installing another camera. Vanning with Ada, I have to give her another big shout out. It was super nice. She knew that I only purchased one nuclear mask, and there's two of us. So what'd she do? She sent Dragonflies a nuclear mask. Then she turns around and sends these cool solar lights that y'all seen out on the back deck. And with the solar lights, there's another camera. So now we're going to have a camera aimed right at the front door. And it's really cool because Dragonflies has the app on her phone. So if we're away from home, we can see it. It'll ding us if somebody is coming near our home. And second of all, if Dragonflies is here alone, she can actually see who's out there in the front yard, which is awesome. And it has a pretty good radius. So it's going to be mounted right at the front door. We've been playing where we're going to put it, but it's going to shine across the front. And that camera is going to pick up a lot. See, there's things that we can do bugging in that we can't do bugging out. Bugging out, right, is one of those things that you go, well, shit, now I'm out there with the masses. And we've already seen how the masses react and act to things. What was it yesterday? Terrible, terrible crime committed in Nashville. A person, I'm not sure if it was a woman or a man or what the deal was, but actually shot out the front doors of an elementary school, went in, shot, I think, three children and two teachers. These things are happening more and more, right? So who says that it's not going to come right outside my front door or right outside your front door? And when it does, then we need to take the steps and recognize it's time to get out of Dodge. And when we come to that point that it's time to get out of Dodge, we need to have the plan in place. And let's hope that that's our very was it a woman? A woman dressed as a guy? I don't know, Sherry. All I know is that this country, the crime rate is off the chart. The crimes that are being committed by young people. They're off their rockers. They've lost their damn minds. They think they're in some kind of virtual reality. Maybe they are. Maybe they're stuck there. But it's very dangerous what's going on around this country, and we all have to recognize that. Okay, my neighbors are my biggest concern. They have been two murders and a kidnapping over there since 2014. Wow, wow, suburban. And see, that is the situation that we also need to recognize. Those people that catch your eye in your neighborhood, you need to make sure that you pay attention. That you pay attention to what are they doing, what's happened there, and what do I do if this person all of a sudden shows up at my front freaking door? And I'll tell you, there's a couple things that will work very well. And I'm being straight up. Those two things right there will work very well to disengage a situation. But do you want it to come to that? No. Um, I also found out that somebody that lives within a mile of me that I've sat down and talked to several times committed murder. And does that make them an asset or does that make them a risk? And that's the real thing. That's the real freaking deal, folks. Is that we have to take a look around. Oh wow, Royal Linus, that's crazy. That's crazy. We got to be careful in the chat about all that because then if somebody picks it up, then they can report the channel and blah 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 blah. See, right is wrong and wrong is right, and the world is rolling into a big ball of bullshit. A big ball of bullshit rolling around. Do y'all see the big ball of bullshit? I do. We've had more train derailments and plant fires than ever. Is there a big ball of bullshit rolling around? Is there a lot of sleepers waking up? you know, that come on, we have to think about that. Who thinks there's a big ball of bullshit that it's like the snowball effect and it's getting bigger and bigger? This big ball of bullshit. I do. Yeah, yeah, yep. I agree with you, Mama Freddie. That is a good point. They're going to be nice to your face. They're going to try to see what you're doing, what you got. What are they doing over there in that little cabin? What do they have that I don't have? What do they have when all shiznick breaks loose? Can I come and take it? Right. So, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Yeah. Well, we're having a mental breakdown. We're having a total mental breakdown. Craziness is what's going on. But I'll tell you what. Yeah, we're. Yep. The snowball is headed for hell, and it's on fire. It is on fire. Everywhere we look around the world is on fire right now. Like I said, if you missed it earlier, I am going to do news over at OTWP TV, but my heart's not in it, y'all. My heart is not in the news. I think there's so much. They want to talk about misinformation and disinformation. I think the news is giving it to us left and right. Uh, so every Sunday night, I'm going to do a wrap up, and it'll be a live stream. It'll start at 5 o'clock and 5 o'clock Central, so you can go watch it. But I'm going to take a lot of people miss my news, and there's things I miss about it. I miss the research, but I'm not one to jump on the bandwagon. There's a lot of channels you can just go over there every single day, and they'll spew out what Fox or CNN or MSN or blah 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 is telling you. That's not me, and that's not who I want to be. That's not. It never has been me. Um, yeah, Royal Highness. Its skills are going to come into play big time. I think that all of us learning about these situations, and I think that we have more important things to talk about as being a preparedness or a prepping channel than just the bullshit news. Okay, so I hope that y'all can roll with that because that's where I'm at with it. I will be doing the maps. Actually, Beth D, I don't have a problem with doing the maps here on this channel at all. Actually, I'll bring one of them up this morning, and we can see how crazy the world is being. The other thing I'm going to start bringing up on this channel is those two things, um, and the DEF CON. Those three things are probably my most important topics when it comes to the news because I think as we watch things around the world, right, that we can see happening. I will say this: there's too many countries right now that are aligning folks to get rid of the American dollar. And when we think about that as a situation that we all need to think about what happened, how long could we withstand, and what's going to be. You missed the hillbilly news. Now I can definitely bring the hillbilly news to this channel because that's a great comedy show, and I love doing the hillbilly news. I think it's time for me to pick on California or yeah, pick on Mama Freddie State. Oh, but I'm still trying to get used to not having teeth, y'all. It's really a strange feeling. I got these big fat lips, and all I keep doing is sucking my lip through my tooth hole. It's not really. I'm sorry. Dragonflies was cracking up. She said, "Do you need some chapstick?" I said, "I don't know what the hell I need. I need something." Yeah, yeah. I just talked about that the other day, Kentucky. About. I'm sorry, y'all. I gotta laugh at myself. I'm actually pretty comfortable with not having those teeth, and I'll tell you what, Sherry, thanks for being here. The other thing is this is the healthiest my gums have been in decades. I'm serious, in decades. So I'm starting to feel a little smart aleck and smart ass again. So that's a good thing, right? Who misses the smart ass OTWP? Hit a one. And I told Dragonflies I kind of fit in, right? With be careful out there, Miss Sherry. Be careful. Um, y'all miss the smart ass. Okay, well the smart ass is here. Um, yeah, whoo, she's a wildflower. But I feel so much better. Like, I'll be honest, like there's certain positions I could not sleep. And I don't know what it has to do with it, but now I can sleep on my back, on my right, on my left. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? It's like I got a new a pep in my step after getting rid of these bad teeth. And a lot of people talk about teeth problems, right? And that it actually affects you health wise so many ways. And I truly believe that. I truly believe that. Yeah, yeah, it was something, that video that came out from Kenya talking about, hey, this is what's we're gonna pull away. Everybody start pulling away your dollars, right? Yes, yes. Thank you, Suburban. I feel better now that yes. Yeah, it does. She's a wildflower. It does. I'm glad to see everybody for morning coffee and to talk about this subject. I do want to bring this up. Also, once you get that situation in and you're like, okay, OTWP has a good point here. I have to think about bugging out. Also, you may want to think about how long could you bug in? How long could you truly bug in? Do you have backup power, lighting, fuel to cook, heating, sanitation? See, sanitation is really huge, really, really huge, folks. Um, in a grid down type of situation, if you don't have a 5 gallon bucket with some shit, I mean, no, a 5 gallon bucket for your shit, yeah, with some plastic bags and stuff, you could get deathly, deathly ill. Now, a lot of things depend on the scenario, and you're going to need to select and risk. That's the big thing, is the risk factor between bugging in, bugging out. Let's go back to subject a little bit. No matter what you choose, you're going to need to implement strategies to actually survive. Preparing your shelter for bugging in. Depending on the emergency, you may need to prepare your shelter in various ways. Boarding up windows, right? Installing a bunker or a safe room. Building a survival kit, knowing that you have so much food that you could stay in your property for months or years. Having a security plan and information and communication. You're going to need some way, if it's a nuclear attack, a natural disaster, civil unrest, to be able to get important information. And that is really important, is to be able to communicate with the outside world. Now, on the other hand, right, we're going to talk about bugging out strategies a little bit. You have to have an evacuation plan to get out, bug out location, a BOL. Your decision to bug out is good as your evacuation plan. Having a predetermined route for your bug out location, having alternate routes to get there. Because you may say, okay, I'm going to take this road. And then as you start going down the road, you get notification via ham radio or whatever that it's dangerous. Now you're going to have an alternate route to get there. Preparing your transportation. You can only bug out if you have reliable transportation. Preparing your car, boat, motorcycle, airplane, helicopter. Bugging out is vital. And then stocking your transportation with survival gear is also a good idea. I would actually do it ahead of time. Because if you have what you need already in your vehicle, whatever your main vehicle is, then you already have that towed in there. And you could use first in, first out and shift it around, right? That might be a good way to do it. Yes, you may want to go, Rick, to Polarin Message, I believe is his channel, Polarin Message. But let's talk about this real quick. The benefits of bugging out, separating yourself from the looming danger, opportunity to find a superior environment that's better than where you're at, and that your assets are always with you and you stay mobile. Now, the big thing is the dangers of bugging out, not reaching the bug out location. That would be huge, right? That would be freaking huge. So you get out there, you decide to leave, and boom, now you're stuck in a situation that you weren't prepared for. I think it's Polarin Message. Um, he knows a lot of information. It's Poloran Message, Rick. And he is all about radios and communication. He's a great guy. I might put him on here as a featured channel. Yeah, I think I will. He's a small channel and he needs a hand up, and he's a really if somebody would, Beth, can you go grab Polarin Messages channel link and drop it in the chat, and then I'll add him as a featured channel for April. He's been really involved lately, so we'll add him. He's a nice guy. Polarin Message. Y'all probably have seen him in the chat. But that's the thing, is that we need to figure out these situations ahead of time so we at least have some kind of grasp on it, right? Some type of grasp is better than no grasp at all. Oh, that's nice. Yep. You're welcome, Rick. He's a nice guy. Tell him that. Make sure you all tell him when you subscribe that OTWP sent him. That we sent him over there, and that we sent y'all over there, and that also that he's a featured channel for the month of April. I think he has some really good knowledge about radios. He does a lot of stuff about radios, and I think that's really important. Yeah, that's a good point, Kentucky, and that's why I added you as a featured channel too. I mean, me and you agree on a lot of things. We disagree on some stuff too, and that's good too because then it makes us open our minds to what somebody else is saying, right? But a foot route would be very important. That would be really, really important, is to have a little foot route to say, hey, if if this road's blocked and that road's blocked, and now I have to do even the worst shit case scenario, which is losing my vehicle, at least I have a foot route in place, and I know that I can get to this point or this point or this point. Another thing that might be very interesting to a lot of you is to kind of do some exploration on your own about the Underground Railroad, right? Look into the Underground Railroad, and then take that situation and apply it to your own bug out situation. I think bugging out is my last resort, like I said. But I also want to say that if it comes out down to it, I'm going to do it. You got to realize that there's a lot of benefits and there's dangers of bugging in as well. Dangers of bugging in. You could become a target to burglars, looters, neighbors asking for help. Um, you're going to have limited ability to restock and gather more resources, and you're going to get cabin fever. You're going to get cabin fever after being stuck inside in the same place for so long. I want to talk about, some situations that are bug out that you have no freaking choice. Let's take Katrina for example. How many times were those people told to get out of New Orleans, and so many of them stayed? See, this is the problem, and this is the issue, is that if authorities, whoever that may be to you, or you and your family, look at and evaluate your own risks, and you say, you know what, it's time. We got to go. We got to go. And then somebody says, no, I don't want to go. And then you wait too long. Nobody's coming to help you. Nobody's coming to save you. The government's not coming. So we have natural disasters, we have warfare, we have civil unrest, and those folks are the worst freaking situations that we could be under. That we have to go. I think that what we're going to see is warfare slash civil unrest. And even after a natural disaster, you'll see people going in. Like when we went down to help with Mayfield, Kentucky, people were going in and stealing stuff, right? When we've seen other riots, we've seen people going in and stealing stuff. And so then you have a catastrophe on top of another catastrophe. And Lord forbid, if you have food shortages. If you have food shortages, people are going to go ballistic everywhere. And they're going to want yours. They're going to want your food. They're going to want your apples off of this road. They're going to want your stuff out of your garden. They're going to want your chickens, your goats, your cows, whatever it may be. So that's another thing to think about is how are you going to protect those animals? Do you have a pen situation that you could have closer to your dwelling for a temporary bug in protect my animal situation? Because I think that's something else to bring up. You know, a lot of people that think that they're out in rural America are safe. Well, we got animals, we got food, we got foraging. Nobody's really around us. Trust me, they're going to come. They're going to come. And when they come, they're going to be hungry, greedy, and they're going to be selfless. They're not going to give a shit about you or your family. They're not going to care that you go out and shake your fist at them and say, "Hey, you know, don't take my stuff." They're going to be like, "We're taking this stuff," you know? Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. I agree with you. Like Kentucky, that's one thing. Like I want to help people, but I also have to evaluate the risks in helping people. How many people are you going to help? Where are you going to help them out? Are you going to bring them right to your cabin and say, "Hey, here's food. Here's some more food." The next thing you know, they're going to bring back 100 people, and then what? Right? Yeah, I seen that, Betsy, and I mean, I can't remember who it was, but that would be a good asset for them, and a good asset for the farmer or the rancher, right? To have extra people around that he could trust, and we do. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, and why, Rick? You know, because when this total civil unrest happens, or are they sleepers that are just going around doing little plots, right? I agree. I agree. And we're going to need to protect our own vegetable gardens, our own chickens, our own goats, our own whatever. You know, that is so true. It's really true. Well, I hope that this topic really got y'all thinking. Like I said, we're going to be having OTWP TV news once a week over on the news channel. And it'll be at 5 o'clock every Sunday night. It'll be kind of a wrap up. And I'm going to do some research and do some special projects here on this channel and over there regarding some different news related topics. Well, there's a lot of food recalls, folks. Be aware and be alert of your food recalls, but are the food recalls purposely planned as well as they take those things underground? You know, at this time, the main show is over. If you'd like to stay and chat, I am going to play a couple songs this morning. Betty, I hope that I don't know. You haven't really given us an update on your brother. You haven't really given us an update. Is he home? Is he still in the hospital? What's going on, Betty? Yeah, the formula went overseas. It was sitting on pallets. He's not good. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, Betty. Um, we'll keep lifting you up in prayers, thoughts, and and hope. Always home now. Okay, all right, that says a lot. I really care about y'all, and I hope that you enjoy the new OTWP prepping and where we're going. Um, so I heard yesterday that there was some more hate coming out about Off the Wall Prepper. And you know what, folks? I'm not going to get caught up in the drama on this channel. And so, mods, if you see somebody come into the chat and they start bringing drama, just boot them. Just boot them out. I haven't done anything to anybody to hurt them. I've tried to lift people up always, and I don't know why um, people are on this hate mission toward me, but whatever, hate me if you want, love me if you like. Um, but I don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. I have too many good things going. We have too many good people on this channel. And I just want to stay on a positive note. We have enough negativity in our lives. So, that being said, if you see somebody come in the chat that's just stirring the pot black, just kick their asses out because I don't have the time for it. And I don't think any of you do either. So, mods, I really truly appreciate everything that you do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Kentucky. Rick, you're funny, man. I enjoy having a good laugh and I enjoy smiling, and I think that prepping doesn't have to be doom and gloom. I don't think that you have to be so stressed out that you can't see straight. That's like really important. Me personally, I could live with or without YouTube. That's the truth. But it's all of you that matter. It's all of you that matter to me, and that's really important. Each I've come to know so many of you in so many different ways, and excuse me. So I just say kick him to the curb and keep on going forward, right? That's what we can do. That's what we can do, and I hope that each and every one of you keeps going forward in the right direction. And that direction may be different for you than it is for me. But the thing is that if we are all striving to do something better, uh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mama Freddie. Thank you. I'm not worthy. I think prepping is really about getting grounded and taking the steps to have an insurance policy for you and your family and screw everybody else. You don't have to do it my way. You don't have to do it Kentucky Survival's way. You don't have to do it Beth D's way. You have to do it your own way. And I think that that's really important is to find that way of preparedness and prepping that fits you and your family because each one of our situations are different. Copycat stated, she has a veteran that she takes care of, and he only has one leg. She's a wildflower, may have a different situation than Beth D. KY Survival may have the neighbors like Suburban Homestead, Suburban Hillbilly that he knows are dangerous. We all have to have different things coming at us, and I think that the most important thing that we can do is evaluate our own situations, take from good channels, and apply them to our life, whoever's channel it may be, right? Okay, Betty, big prepper hugs to you. And then apply those to our lives and keep going. All right, Suburban Hillbilly. Ma'am. Okay. Oh, thank you, Bougie. Y'all are priceless to me. And that's why I'm still here on YouTube. That's why I'm still here. It's because of Bougie and Beth D and Kentucky and Rick and RCX. And I can just sit here and name all of you. Brandy F, George Mitchell. It's because of all of you that I keep coming back. It's because God is leading and we're following. And that's a big part of prepping, in my opinion, right? Betty, I'm going to play this real quick for you. Everybody, this goes out to Betty and her brother. And Betty, we love you. I'll be back. I'll be back.
darkest valley. I was lost, couldn't find my way. But then I heard him from within, he who died for my sins. He spoke my name, then I saw his face. Yes, I've seen his eternal glory. I felt his hand when I was astray. I never knew until then what his love truly meant. I was lost, but now I'm found by his grace. By his grace, by his grace, I've been saved by the grace of my Lord. By his grace, by his grace, I've been saved by the grace of my Lord.
I like that song. It's a new song by Tim Hurst. I like it. I like that song, because we all need to like keep on striving to do better, to be better people out in the community. I got to get ready to go back to work. I'm geared up. I'm ready to roll. I really You like the song too? I do. It's like there's something about the beat and just I like that song. A lot of people dip out when I play music, but it's okay. Whatever. They're missing out on the end of the live, and that's okay too. You know, yeah, we're gonna start having some member only lives, and there might only be a few people or whatever, but I think that it's important that the people that are supporting the channel, that we have some one on ones, and we bring up topics and can talk about topics that we all need to, right? Yeah, boom, Mama Freddie, boom. I got I don't have a lot to do. I kind of rearranged the back deck again, right? But the one thing is, folks, yeah, we got this and we do, and that's why we do what we do. Exactly. Yeah, I think that it's really important for us to keep striving um, for the things that matter. I want to bring back a lot of morning lives. Um, we have one coming up is that in the morning or in the evening? I'm not sure. I'm not sure when that one is. We have one anonymous in a SHTF preparedness situation. That one's coming up. We have who cares in a SHTF, and then we have some other ones that I need to fit in. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff out on the back deck, and we have some prepping. We're going to do demos, live demos, and I hope that you all come to those. I would like to set up about 5 demos and do a complete demo hour of all demos, which I think would be a lot of fun. Uh, some cooking, I think I'll do survival cooking out there on the deck, and I'm going to bring down a different one that you've never seen. I have the small one, right, with the fuel tabs, but I have another one that takes propane or butane. So I think I'm going to do some survival cooking coming up next. And I think that it's really important, folks, that we keep on learning skills that are going to help us. See, I'm on a new journey myself, and so I'm taking y'all on this new journey with me. I'm hoping to go fishing on Thursday and have a little better luck. But then, as some of you may know already, we have a big trip planned, and we're going to be helping my mother move. They did accept her offer on the new house. So thank God she got a new house. And so me and Dragonflies are going to be driving to Nebraska to help her move. We got a bunch of family coming. We're all going to load her up on a Friday. And then me and Dragonflies are going ahead of them I'm renting a car because I'm still looking for an SUV or a truck, and it hasn't happened yet, and I'm being patient. When God says, "Hey, here's the one you need to buy," then that's what I'm buying. But then we're going to be going to Colorado, and I'm super excited to take y'all to Colorado with me. We'll be doing a live stream from Colorado. I'm also going to be going out there to do some fishing, and and this will be Dragonfly's very first trip to Colorado, to my home state. And so I'm going to take her up in the mountains to the Rocky Mountain National Park so she can see the elk and the big horn ram goats, which will be really awesome. And I'm going to do some fishing up in the mountains, river fishing. I'm going to go to some trout spots. This is the time of year in Colorado for trout and crappie, so I'm real excited. Our trip is planned for a week to 2 weeks. I don't know how long we'll be gone. We might be gone 3 weeks because I work remote, so all I need is my computer and Wi-Fi, and I can still work, which is really cool. We're going to be taking some fun trips this spring and summer. We also have one planned up at the Lake of the Ozarks, and I wasn't going to tell y'all, but I'm going to tell you. I have rented a houseboat, and it's going to be awesome. So me and Dragonflies are leaving the dogs at home. We're going to a big show up there, and we're going to be staying on a houseboat. out on the lake, and we're going to be going fishing there. I got a lot of fishing stuff going on this year. I'm real excited about it. Uh, I really I might be headed over to Kentucky too, KY Survival. So if I get over that way, brother, I will hit you up and we can meet and drop back a couple beers and bullshit. I would love to meet Kentucky Survival and Zombie Prepper. There's not a lot of folks that I open myself up to go meet them because I think that could be dangerous, right? I mean, I'm being honest with you. It could be a dangerous situation. You never know what kind of Looney Tune people you could meet. But there is some people that I would love to meet in our mag. But I'm excited to take y'all on this trip to Colorado. And on the way to Colorado, there's a really, really cool place. How many of you have heard of Buffalo Bill? I hope all of you know a little history about Buffalo Bill. So for over 30 years, Buffalo Bill had a home in western Nebraska in the Sandhills. And so I'm going to be taking you to a really cool place that actually has a lot to do with Buffalo Bill. And that will be super awesome. I think you all will get a kick out of it. And you get to see something really bizarre when we go there. It's really bizarre. So I'm really excited about the new journey that I'm taking the channel on, and I hope that you all enjoy this new journey of really learning skills, really talking about some down to earth topics, and also our crazy fun stuff. You know, trivia, comedy nights, preppy, hillbilly news. Some of those things are just me, and I'll never ever change that. I'm not going to change me. But I think that when I originally started Off the Wall Prepper, it was really to bring things that have happened to me, things that I've done, things that we're doing. Our goal this year is to be completely off grid, and we are taking steps every single week. Every single week, we are doing something to become more off grid. These solar lights out in the back are fabulous. I just ordered 2 more sets, so the whole back of the cabin is going to be lit up with these cool solar lights, which is awesome. I'm also doing a lot of building projects around the homestead, and this is the year, folks. This is the year that y'all are going to get to watch me dig the pond. The pond is happening. Hell or high water. I'm doing the pond this year. And right now I'm on the hunt for an old canoe because I'm making this cool it'll be the pond, and then up here will be the canoe. So water from the cabin will run into the canoe. And then once it hits the canoe, there's going to be a fountain in there, and it's going to shoot it over into the pond, and there's going to be a pump through the bottom of the canoe that will push it out into the pond. It's going to be really freaking fabulous. I've been planning this for like a year. So I'm super excited about that too. Uh no, I can put him there, Bougie. I'll share him. I think I might have him. I think I might have him on OTWP Survival. You might want to check there. A few of you ordered things and it got a little screwed up, and I apologize. RCX has a T-shirt she's waiting for, and she's a wildflower. You have some vanilla you're waiting for, and I truly apologize for those 2 errors. Things happen, and I really apologize. Yeah. Oh, Mark, it does. It takes a lot of time. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and play one song on the way out and shut down. Now, that would be cool, Kentucky Survival, a water wheel. That'd be really cool. Um, do you remember when I went to the big water wheel here in the Ozarks and I did a video down there? That was really cool. We need to go down to that. But we have some river fishing we're doing here in Missouri too. We're going to be staying at a cabin that's not too far from our cabin, but I just want to stay over there for a weekend. We can take the dogs, and we're going to be doing that too. We're going to be taking a canoeing trip down the river, the White River. So we got a lot of things planned for this spring and summer. I'm going to keep on living while we can. While we can do things, I'm going to do them. I'm going to play one song on the way out Thanks for dropping in this morning, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. I'll be posting a live for pretty much every morning this week. We're going to touch on some different skills, and we are going to be touching on some news articles, Betty. Okay, so um, we're going to be talking about some food situations that need to be brought up. All right. Well, God bless you all from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at in this big, happy, happy world. Make today count. Make every day count. Keep doing the dang thing. Yes, I'll bring up maps tomorrow, Betty. How about that? We're gonna have a crime segment here on OTWP in the morning, and then we're gonna talk about some food things that we need to talk about. Okay. Everybody have a great day. Keep on doing the legwork. Don't give up and don't give in. And remember, God is with us. He dwells in the midst of us, and He is going to bring us through. That's the things that we need to stay focused on. Is the most important things in the world, and the first should be your faith, and then your prepping and your family, and those things should all fall in place. God bless y'all. Till I see you again, my friends. Big, huge prepper hugs. One last song for the way out. Thank you again, everybody.